Hey, what's going on, y'all? This your boy Jay Sewell. You know what? I wonder, do the people that acquitted George Zimmerman feel at this point they did the right thing in acquitting him for murdering Trayvon Martin? Because if you see all the incidents that's happened to George Zimmerman since he was acquitted, from him getting arrested, him having some kind of incident, I think, in Ferguson where he pulled out a gun on some guys, you know, from him putting out a tweet of Trayvon Martin's dead body on the ground, posting, "This is what happened to the last dude that messed with me." You know, I wonder, them seeing all this shit that's didn't happen with this guy. I wonder, are they somewhere thinking everybody that served as a member of the jury in that trial? I wonder, are they saying, "Wow, we made a mistake"? But then again, you know what I'm saying? Based off how the case was handled, shit. You know what I'm saying? The defense team had everything going their favor. They had a junction file to where you couldn't have, you couldn't bring up George Zimmerman's past because George Zimmerman has a very shaky past. You know, with incidents, with him being some kind of security guard, him following an 8-year-old kid around. This dude has had a lot of, you know, racially motivated incidents. But people said he wasn't a racist. Well, look what didn't happen now. This dude is posted pictures of his naked ex-girlfriend or something, saying that she cheated on him with some Muslim dude and he made some racial slur towards the Muslim dude. I mean, look at what's going on. Y'all see what kind of cat this dude is? Y'all see this shit? You know, this dude is walking around free for murdering a 17-year-old boy for just trying to get home, who was unarmed, who didn't have nothing on him but an Arizona iced tea and a bag of Skittles. But then, you know what I'm saying? I seen how this case was handled, and I seen how insensitive that a lot of white people was towards Trayvon Martin's family and him. Trayvon wasn't here to defend himself, but in the court case, they made him look like he was some kind of criminal, posting pictures of him with a joint in his hand, which don't have nothing to do with nothing, pretty much. So what? He had a joint in his hand. Does that mean he deserved to get gunned down? They made it was almost like they put Trayvon Martin on trial. They basically won doing character assassination, but it worked. Then, not to mention, the defense team fought and made sure that not one black juror served on that case. They made sure. Just like what happened with the Oscar Grant case. As you know, Oscar Grant's shooting happened at the Fruitvale station in Oakland, California. But the cop that shot Oscar Grant had his trial in Los Angeles. Yeah, that's right, Los Angeles. A city that's like 350 miles from Oakland. They stated that he couldn't get a fair trial out there. And then, just as the Trayvon Martin case, they made sure that they didn't have one black person on the jury. You know, y'all see a pattern with this anytime it seemed to be a shooting involving a non-black person murdering a black person. They try to make sure that a black person doesn't serve on the jury. You know, the usual bullshit. And I think it sucks what's going on. Like I said, George Zimmerman, this animal, is fucking walking around free. This man had incident after incident since he's been acquitted. He's been arrested for alleged domestic violence, for stalking his girlfriend, just incident after incident. This man had a very shaky history, but he was walking free. He was acquitted, free to walk around amongst us. While Trayvon Martin is not here, while he was taken away from his family for not doing a motherfucking thing except trying to go home and having a goddamn hoodie over his head and some Skittles and an Arizona iced tea. And instead of George Zimmerman being on trial, it seemed like Trayvon Martin was the one on trial. You know, the character assassination, putting up pictures of him with a joint in his mouth, which didn't have shit to do with shit. But it worked. That's society for you. But then you always get these idiots and these coons that come on, you know, outlets like YouTube, you know, other places, Twitter, Facebook, and they try to sell you this bullshit that racism doesn't exist. Like I said, man, Zimmerman had a history of incidents. Allegedly he put up something racist about Mexican dudes on his Facebook page. I don't know if it was Facebook or Twitter, but he typed something that was racist towards Mexicans, and he's half Hispanic himself. He identifies himself as white, even though his mother is Hispanic, but he identifies himself as white. But, you know, I guess you could say it's a cold game out here. You know, this seems to happen a lot, especially with black people. Every time we get killed by a cop or somebody like George Zimmerman, you know, it seemed to be oops, too much. Oh well, not a big deal, but let it be the other way around. You know what I'm saying? Cops shooting unarmed black man, pretty much all over the country. But then if a black dude shoot a cop, then it's the worst thing that ever happened. You know what I'm saying? They sensationalize that. But anyway, man, I don't want to get into this because I'm getting disgusted thinking about this shit with George Zimmerman. Because to be quite frankly with you, the best thing that could happen to George Zimmerman is for him to walk somewhere and somebody recognize him and they put a bullet in his head. And I'm out.